And wherever you want to talk sports.
Now it's time for Monty in the Morning.
Hey, yo, man, how the heck are you? It is Thursday, August 19th, 2021. We were having a raging argument just a moment ago. Apparently, it's only fans and not fans only, you jerk.
That's correct.
How have you not corrected? I've said fans only like 100 times this week.
I don't know.
No, because you look stupid, and it's got nothing to do with what you say, fat ass.
It's not my problem.
You're going on a diet. I kid. It is only fans. That was our argument today. Cody Strickland, good morning to you. First in.
Let's just call it Only the Monty Show.
That's right, only fans of the Monty Show. We have a lot to get to today. We got to talk about NFL taunting because Jake is all upset about that. And, oh, by the way, did anybody notice that it is raining smoke in this town? Welcome to Salt Lake City, the Salt Lake Valley, the Wasatch Front. So last night we worked out after the Yelpatory because we just didn't have time to do it at lunch yesterday. Frankly, I don't remember why. I had a call that blew me off. That's right. Anyway, so actually, no, I talked to that guy, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We didn't have time to work out. So it poured rain in Salt Lake yesterday to the point where there was flooding, like the belt route was just flooded, going, just apocalyptic, right? But we walked outside yesterday night to go to the gym and get that bench press in, and it smelled like burnt food. My wife was like, is somebody burning something? Like, it smelled like burnt food, like a campfire. Yeah, like you cook on a campfire.
Yes.
It smelled like a campfire outside. And it was like the air was noticeably heavy because all this smoke is coming in from Oregon and California and Idaho, and it's being driven to the ground by all the rain yesterday. It was disgusting. Like,
it's an impossible situation, dude. Like, it's bad.
It's really bad. Like, it was gross. So stay in the house, man, will you? I'm serious. Like, do you ever worry about the air quality?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think that I think it's something to be concerned about, but I also think, I've in terms of health, like, I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, so my lungs should be pretty healthy, Like, overall, I haven't done almost any damage to my lungs, so, I think I'll be okay, but, like, yeah, it is concerning. I'm not going to lie. Like, I walk outside, and I'm like, damn, dude, like, it is super smoky out here.
Cody Strickland says, WTF is up with the weather and the Afghan burning down. Okay. He also says, Jim's restaurant burning down. Could be. Trevor Muse. Well, good morning, Trevor.
Is that someone new to the show?
I don't know. Trevor, are you new to the show? He says, gents. I say, gentlemen. Nice to meet you. Let's start with Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz because because of the rain yesterday, the $1 million a month that we pay for super fast internet to facilitate this show, we had technical difficulties yesterday.
Swear to God, dude.
So, oh my God, was that not one of the most frustrating things? Like,
I'll drop that motherfucker.
Like I'm telling you, if there had been a CenturyLink rep here,
wait, let me get this
my
right.
Goodness,
let me get this right. Just quick review, then we'll get to the topic. Last week it was the printer wouldn't connect to the internet.
Correct.
This week, internet won't connect to the camera that we use to stream the show.
Correct.
Okay, we get it, dude. You pay all this money for CenturyLink, and what does it get you?
Like over $100 a month for internet.
It's ridiculous.
And it is super fast when it's super fast, but how often is it super fast and stuff?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, dude. It's frustrating. Anyway.
So how good is Donovan Mitchell? One of the conversations we had while the internet was down yesterday was how good is Donovan Mitchell and who does Don compare to in the NBA? Because as by now, as a Jazz fan or an NBA fan or a Phoenix Suns fan, you're well aware of the Christmas schedule, which is Lakers and Nets, and you're going to hear from KD in a minute. Wait until you hear that audio. Lakers and Nets leading into Jazz and Mavs on Christmas night. Donovan Mitchell versus Luka's mom's offspring, Luka Doncic. And so the question was asked yesterday on this Fine Here program, Luka or Don? And I'm here to tell you I'm taking Don all day. I think Donovan Mitchell is one of the most underrated superstars in the game. And that's right, I said it. He's a superstar.
Yeah.
But he's not one of the top 10 players. I would guess Donovan Mitchell's probably top 15. I think Luka Doncic is one of the most overrated players in the NBA. I think he does a lot of really nice things. He's very good. Donovan Mitchell is better. Donovan Mitchell has built his range. There's all these videos of him working with Chris Brickley in New York, David Alexander in Miami. Donovan Mitchell looks to be in incredible shape, and his handle looks as good as it has ever been. His range is as deep as anybody in the NBA, maybe Trae Young, but he's got logo range. And now he's a wanting, willing, tenacious defender. That's the part of his game that was lacking, but we saw before his ankle fell off, we saw that Donovan Mitchell can actually really defend. Mm-hmm. So, Jake, I guess my question is who you got, Luka Doncic or Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I would go with Don all day. I think that Luka is a guy who, let me say this. First of all, I believe I'm someone who definitely believes that the Euro player who comes to the NBA is always going to struggle with the physicality of the NBA. And yes, we can complain about officiating and the fact that, we're not playing 90s basketball anymore. Right, but the fact is that the NBA is much more physical than Euro basketball. And I think that, Luka, yes, does he put up stats? Absolutely. Does he fill up the stat sheet? Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. He's a joy to watch. He hits shots that you don't think he's going to hit. Absolutely, he's fun to watch, which is why he's playing on Christmas Day. However, when I have this discussion and I look at Don versus Luka, you start to think about, okay, who would I want? Who would I want to be the leader of my team? And this is something else in Donovan's game that I think goes largely under the radar. Donovan Mitchell is the leader of the Utah Jazz. The Jazz go as Don goes. So if Don's putting up 40, they're winning ball games. A lot of the time. They're having a good night. If he's having a good night, they're having a good night. Everything's all good. If he's having a bad night, okay, now everything's not all good. So with Luka, to me, there have been times where he hasn't really shown up, and the Mavericks have found a way to win. And then I look at the relationship with Porzingis, and I say, you're just not a good leader, man. Your team cannot handle adversity. You ruined a relationship with one of the rarest talents the league's seen in quite some time. And you're not a winner to this point anyway. You're respected, but you're not a winner. And I look at Don and I say, no, he's not a winner either yet. But I can clearly see a path for Donovan Mitchell getting to, the Western Conference Finals, and then getting to the NBA Finals. I mean, I think we could all agree that we can see the progression every single year over year. So at the end of the day, I would take Don over Luka, every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Well, and I would agree that. Again, I want to make it clear. I think both guys are spectacular players. I happen to think that Donovan Mitchell mentally is a more ready player than Luka Doncic is. I think Luka is very entitled. I think he is very young. And I think Donovan Mitchell is an old soul. This is a guy that you would have no idea how many years he's played basketball or what his upbringing was or his background, because he's a calm, just ready demeanor killer kind of player.
Yeah.
If you put him in the NBA Finals with the game on the line, Donovan Mitchell is going to come through. And I can't say the same thing about Luka Doncic. Yep. Does he hit clutch shots? Yes, he does. Is he an unbelievable, shot maker? Yes, he is. He's creative. I get it. Luka Doncic mentally, I think, lacks the athletic ability that Donovan Mitchell has. And I just think Don's a killer. Yeah. And I don't see the killer instinct in Luka. I really don't. And It's interesting you bring up Kristaps Porzingis, because I think that's a really important point. Donovan Mitchell is a beloved teammate. That's a guy who his guys in the locker room respect and will play hard with Donovan Mitchell. Yeah. I know for a fact you can't say the same thing about Luka Doncic. I mean, the Kristaps Porzingis thing has been nothing short of a disaster for the Mavericks, and a lot of it is that Luka and Kristaps don't get along. That's your second best player. And to me, Luka Doncic's job as a leader and the best player on that team is to make sure that he has chemistry, that he has a relationship with the other best players in that room. He clearly does not. And so for me, when I hear that Donovan Mitchell was out recruiting guys to come to the Jazz, when he was one of the guys leading the charge to get Mike Conley to return to Salt Lake City. To me, that says a lot about who Donovan Mitchell is as a professional and who Donovan Mitchell is as a baller. Because you can't be a baller if other guys don't want to play with you.
Right.
That's a huge problem. And that's the one component that I think Donovan Mitchell is head and shoulders better than Luka Doncic. Now, the other guys that we got to throw in here, I don't think he's as good as Devin Booker in Phoenix. I think Devin's all-around game. I think his ability to score whenever he wants, regardless of who else is on the floor. Mm-hmm. I think Donovan Mitchell is just a better scorer of the basketball. And by the way, I also think that Devin Booker is a better scorer of the basketball. I also think Devin Booker is a better defender right now today. Devin Booker went to the Olympics, and he was the best defender on the best team in the Olympic tournament. Mm-hmm. I think that says a lot about Devin Booker's development and his want to. I think I would take Devin slightly ahead of Don, but Donovan Mitchell is better than Jayson Tatum. Donovan Mitchell is better than Damian Lillard, in my opinion. Now, the only difference is, obviously, Dame's got that clutch gene because he's done it in the postseason.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think, the one thing I struggle with Book is just that, in this postseason, he had a propensity for not showing up and not making the three and being really inconsistent offensively. Defensively, it's not in question. Devin Booker's a better player right now, and I think for the most of his career he's going to be, because he's a bigger guy and he's got more body to work with and he's got more ways he can defend you, without a doubt. And he can defend more positions on the floor. So defensively, I think Book has the edge just because of that. But offensively, I think back to, it was recently all over Twitter. Don's, I think he put up 57 against the Nuggets in the bubble 2 years ago. I think that was, he had that ridiculous postseason performance. And, I think back to those kind of signature moments, and it's not as though Book hasn't had those moments, but for me, I'm waiting for Book to have that signature performance in a game of consequence. Because when he put up that, I think, 70 or 71 against the Celtics that night, that wasn't a game of consequence. That was just them playing a game. And so my only critique for Book at this point is just that the three's got to get better, and he's got to show up in big games. He has to consistently be 30 a night, in big games. That would be my only critique. And I think, the other thing we got to talk about here is health. Devin Booker was a guy who struggled with health in the early years of his career. And then Phoenix rolled over its entire health staff. He got better, he got stronger, and now he doesn't struggle with injury anymore. And I think we saw Don this past year struggle with injury a lot, And so I'm not saying that Don is somehow doing something wrong. Obviously, we all know what happened in Indianapolis. We all know that he came down on somebody, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, that's a style of play. The way you play the game largely dictates if you're going to stay healthy or not. So, I don't know. I think they're very, very close. I think right now I probably would give Book the slight edge, especially because we're talking about him getting better at shooting, and he's already one of the best shooters in the league. So, Book versus Don is really tight. I probably, for me, would go with Book, but it's tight. Jayson Tatum, this is a guy I disagree with you on. I think Jayson Tatum's better than both of these guys. He's dunked on LeBron. He's had huge postseason moments. He's carried them. He's done big things in big games. That said, the problem is he didn't do anything this past year to help them. That's the problem. So again, the word inconsistency comes to mind, and that's what makes this conversation difficult, bro. Because Jayson Tatum can get it with the best of them. That's the problem.
Oh, and he dunked on LeBron, so he must be the best player in the world. I hate that. I dunked on LeBron in 2K. Am I the best 2K? Never mind. I'll stop. The point is, I don't care who he dunked on. Jayson Tatum has not made his teams better. That's the biggest issue. That Boston Celtic team has been a disappointment, and maybe some of this is Brad Stevens. Maybe some of this is Gordon Hayward was a complete flop there. Kemba Walker, a complete flop there. Kyrie Irving, a complete flop there. Boston tends to be a place where guys go to die. So the question is that Brad Stevens in the front office, or is that Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown? I don't know. We'll find out. To me, Jayson Tatum is a wonderful player who just isn't on that level yet. I put guys like Devin Booker, Damian Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic, all those guys are ahead of Jayson Tatum until he says, until he arrives and until he proves that he is a big game, give me the ball, get out of the way, let me win this for us kind of player. I think Donovan Mitchell's that guy.
Dude, I don't
Devin
know.
Booker's that guy.
I don't know what you've been watching then. I mean, he's done that already.
But he has, like, in what games though?
He carried them 2 years ago during the Kyrie years when Kyrie was out. He carried them. He took them places.
Right, but they haven't won anything with him. They haven't won anything with that group. That's why
Book's the only one that's won anything. That's why he gets the edge. That's why I'm saying I think in terms of winning and having big games, Book's got to the NBA Finals no matter how you want to slice it. He got there.
But furthermore, I think it needs to be said, he is one of the main reasons they got there. Like the way he played throughout the playoffs.
His defense is what helped them more than his offense. He was very inconsistent offensively.
Hey, Devin Booker's biggest issue is, and I know we've talked about this 1,000 times. Devin Booker's biggest issue is he's got to become a more consistent 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
and if he does that, not if he does that, when he does that. My feeling. Hello,
more tech issues.
More technical issues.
Hello.
What the heck is going on? My feeling is when he does that hello, hi.
Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Okay.
When Devin Booker does that, I think what you're going to see is if he ever gets to consistently year in and year out, if Devin Booker's making 38 to 40% of his threes, which he's more than capable of doing, it's over.
Yeah.
He will be an absolute killer in this league.
I agree.
The problem is he hasn't been that guy yet.
Yeah.
But that's why we're not talking about him with the elites in this game. We're talking about him with the guys who are close.
The second tier guys.
Yeah, the Dons, the Dames, the Tatums.
Yeah.
I think Book is one of the best players in that second tier.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, I think, is right next to him.
I think Donovan Mitchell's out for blood this year. I got to be honest with you. With everything we're seeing him doing this offseason, and I know we always bring it up on the show, the names of Chris Brickley and David Alexander, and you guys always hear these names, but there's a reason for that. They're the best in the business at what they do, and I think that there's no better feeling than seeing the best player on your team trying to get better.
But now, and people are going to blow this comment out of proportion. Please don't.
Y'all about to fuck this up.
Yeah, please don't. Already. We haven't even played the full soundbite. We haven't even played the full soundbite, and you're already using that drop. It's amazing. Don't misconstrue what I'm about to say. You know who Donovan Mitchell reminds me of? Michael Jordan.
Okay.
Early in Michael Jordan's career, he had a major foot injury.
That's right.
Early in Michael Jordan's career, he didn't have the supporting cast he needed.
That's right.
And Mike every year got a little better and a little better.
It became personal with me.
And then he showed up able to hit a three. And then he showed up as one of the best defensive players in the game.
Mm-hmm.
What are we seeing out of Donovan Mitchell in the first 5 years of his career?
It's very similar.
He's getting better. He's getting better. He's getting better.
How old is
this
Don?
Injury.
Is Don's 24, isn't he?
I don't want to say it for sure because I don't know his exact age. But what I'm telling you is, and don't turn this into, that's good. You said he's better than Michael Jordan ever was. No, that's a-hole. That's not what I said.
Idiot.
Donovan Mitchell is 24.
He's 24.
That's
Dude,
not what I said. What I said
young.
was Donovan Mitchell it reminds me of Michael Jordan in that Donovan is incredibly competitive. Donovan is working his ass off to get better, whether that's incrementally, whether that is shooting the three, his handle. It is very reminiscent of the career arc that Michael Jordan had.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
What did Michael Jordan want? Oh, he wanted his friends on the team. He wanted guys that he could play with and trust. Well, why is Eric Paschall here?
Mm-hmm.
Because he's friends with Don from childhood and you can trust him.
Yep.
Right? Like Michael Jordan wanted to bring back certain free agents. Why is Mike Conley here? Because Donovan Mitchell wanted him here. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you're seeing that those two guys at this point in their careers, in my opinion, and I covered Mike for a long time. I grew up in Chicago, idolized that guy, had the great pleasure of watching him in person. I'm telling you, Donovan Mitchell, and I'd also compare him to Kobe Bryant. Donovan Mitchell is very similar in career trajectory and mentality to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for that moment. And the thing that terrifies me about Donovan Mitchell is I haven't been able to say, well, the Utah Jazz are going to do what they got to do to win Don a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, this has been one of the best off seasons in the history of the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, with their situation, there's not much more they could have done. I mean, they've knocked it out of the park.
So now we're starting to see that maybe the Utah Jazz are willing to do what you've got to do. And maybe,
which is different than what you've always done.
Maybe Ryan Smith has cojones to pay the luxury tax and get guys.
Here's the game plan.
If you have a productive season this year, I don't expect the Jazz to compete for a championship. I just don't see that they have the roster to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But next summer, you're going to have a lot more flexibility. Your first measuring stick is this Joe Ingles situation. If middle of October rolls around, when he becomes extension eligible, the Utah Jazz extend Joe Ingles. If I'm Donovan Mitchell, I'm pissed. Because that's taken my summer money away, and that is going to impede the Utah Jazz ability to grow and expand this roster.
Yeah.
If you don't win a championship this year, and mark it down that I'm saying this on August 19th of 2021, if you don't win a championship this year and Rudy Gobert's the same, he's a great defensive player, his arms are as long as his cock. If he doesn't turn into a better offensive player and he's still here,
it's just not worth it.
Donovan Mitchell's not going to be here for the rest of his career. Because we can sit here and we can talk about, Don and Rudy and their buddies and high-fiving on Twitter, and Donovan Mitchell wants to win championships.
Yeah, multiple.
I'm telling you, Rudy Gobert is not a championship player. So you got to ask yourself, how do you become a championship player if you're Rudy Gobert? Well, you learn to dribble, and you learn to finish without dunking the basketball. That's a measuring stick. The Ingles situation, how long is Bojan Bogdanovic going to be a Jazz man? Because if they don't win a championship this year, he better not be back next year.
Bojan
Bagsnatchovic, I'm telling you.
Bojan Bogdanovic.
That's a guy that you can win a championship with. Not sure I can say that about Joe Ingles and Rudy Gobert.
Yeah. Agreed.
Think about a game 6 against the Brooklyn Nets. Where does Joe Ingles fit into that? You're up 2. There's 17 seconds left on the clock. Is Joe Ingles on the floor? Probably not. Right? Probably not. Well, now you backstopped it with Rudy Gay, right? So what about Royce O'Neal? Can you sit here right now today and tell me Royce O'Neal's a championship player?
No.
Can you tell me that this Utah Jazz team is better, and if, all things being equal, everybody's healthy? Are they better than the current incarnation of the Los Angeles Lakers, who said Alex Caruso wasn't good enough? Going to say the Jazz are not better than the Lakers. Are the Jazz better than a healthy Kawhi and Paul George team?
No.
No, they're not. Are they? And the question is, are the Jazz better than the Phoenix Suns right now? I think that's really close. Athletic ability,
it's very close.
Athletic ability is a problem in that matchup. So
ask me if Devin Booker's making his 3.
Yeah,
that'll decide it.
Exactly. All of this to say, Donovan Mitchell is on the same career arc as Kobe and Jordan. It's a matter of where we go from here.
Yeah.
And the Jazz are the Jazz the Pippen, Horace Grant, John Paxson Bulls front office? Is Ryan Smith, Dr. Jerry Buss, willing to do whatever it takes to win a championship because he's got one of the best players in the NBA? Well, he knew that he had Kobe. He didn't have Shaq, so what'd they do?
Mm-hmm.
They went and got Shaq. And when Shaq was gone, what'd they do? They went and got Pau Gasol. And now that Kobe's gone, what'd they do? They went and got LeBron and AD and Russell Westbrook. And
whatever it takes.
What'd the Brooklyn Nets do? They went and got everybody.
I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am.
By the way, what did the Milwaukee Bucks do? How'd they win a championship? Because it wasn't Thanos' brother. I mean, I obviously I respect Giannis Ante your mama, but I'm telling you right now, guys like PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday, those are the guys who should be getting the accolades just as much as any Antetokounmpo guy.
A booby.
Because those are the guys that won a championship in Milwaukee because the ownership and the front office went out and made a decision to win a championship.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't care who got hurt. I don't care. Are they better than the Nets? Yeah, this year they were. Yeah, they were. Were the Suns better than the Jazz this year? Yeah, they were. Were they better than? I'll say what I've said, and now let's hear the ridiculous comments. That's just the way it is.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Yeah, right. Exactly right. Trevor Muse says, been watching for the last couple of weeks. Trevor, welcome to the show. James Knight says, put a gold and purple jersey on Don with extra exposure. His stock goes up dramatically. Well, Christmas Day is really important for Donovan Mitchell.
Absolutely.
This was the other argument that happened the other day. You guys are idiots. The Jazz have been on Christmas Day games in 2018. Okay, so that Donovan Mitchell is this Donovan Mitchell, and that Jazz team is this Jazz team. This Jazz team is exponentially better than where they were in 2018, and Donovan Mitchell is a more ready superstar today than he's ever been.
Yeah.
So if they're following, and again, I know you're going to hate this, they're following the Lakers and the Nets. The marquee matchup of the night is the Lakers and the Nets.
Yeah.
And Donovan Mitchell is the closing act. So
Pretty
trust
awesome.
me, when I say they're going to have a huge audience, Don needs to put up.
Yeah.
That's a 45-point game waiting to happen right there. Don needs to put up. And for me, this Christmas is as big as any Christmas. Red Heart Norvis, good morning to you, bud. He said, hi, guys. We're having spicy grilled frogs for dinner. It'll be done in a few. Listening to you guys while getting it done. Okay. Spicy, like, is that on a kebab over an open fire? Might. Trevor Muse says, Donovan has been getting better every year. How long can he keep this up? His game, it has a lot of growth in it.
Yeah.
A lot. Don's got to learn, and maybe he has now, I don't know. Experience is your best teacher and developer, so he needs the small intangible things. Donovan Mitchell is absolutely capable of taking over a game. He has to learn when the right time to do that is. Because a lot of times what we saw was it turned into Donovan Mitchell and everybody else.
Yeah.
So Conley didn't matter. You know, Rudy never matters offensively. But, like, you have other guys, other pieces. But Donovan takes the ball and will shoot a 50-footer just to shoot. Like,
You can't be trying to take over the game in the
that.
second quarter, dude.
No.
I mean, that's not what it's about.
No, you can't. And the other thing is that you have to understand now, the Jazz did what you asked them to do, which was get you help.
Yep. Now it's time to go do it.
Now it's time to go and use that help and leverage them and become better. That's the growth that Donovan needs. His game, his handle, his three-point shot, his jumper, his mid-range, all that's great. I would love to see him go to the basket less. I mean, there's no reason. The mid-range is the dominant part of everybody's game. Mm-hmm. And with the injury you're coming off of with that ankle, we saw it in the postseason. He continued to aggravate that ankle by going into traffic. You know, like, all I'm asking is maybe try to dunk on the entire roster of the other team, maybe just once a game. The other times, pull up at the free throw line or the elbow.
Don't you know who I am?
Right. I mean, you're Shiva, the god of dunking, that, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff.
Right.
Did you ever notice Don tries to dunk on a bunch of dudes and never gets there?
Mm-hmm.
Always a layup attempt.
Yeah.
But that's how you get hurt. Corey Grocock.
Grocock!
This is a bit better. It's only 10:30 night. Did you get your Xbox yet? I mean,
Yeah. Bro,
yeah,
where's
Corey,
the Xbox at?
Grocock,
Did you
get your Xbox yet? Romaine Shiskani Lasagna says, hi, guys. Who's the best shooting guard in the league for you?
Klay Thompson.
Clay, well, let's see what happens. I mean, all things being equal, and he's the same guy he was, which is unlikely, Klay Thompson's the best shooting guard in the league. I mean, Devin Booker's there, Don's there. And if we're still assigning two guards, you know, guys' numbers, like, hey, he's a point guard, he's a two guard, Don's there, certainly. Tatum, all the guys we've been talking about. Man, that, you know, it's like in Portland, does Dame play the two? He brings the ball up a lot, but so does
Just
CJ.
depends. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the whole number thing.
Yeah, I don't. I think
It's not
that's
really
very
how the
difficult.
league works anymore.
I think that's very difficult. that to me will be interesting. Tatum has done nothing lately. Cody Strickland says, well, and I think that roster's struggled. They've really, they won their championship and they've been digging out since.
Yeah.
They've never really bounced back from those days. Why am I awake at 1 a.m., Kenny says. I don't know, Kenny. Where are you that it's 1 a.m.? Kenny says, but who was the best player on the Suns for their finals run? Oh, Devin Booker for sure. I think we saw at times it was Chris Paul. I think we saw at times it was DeAndre Ayton. But when they were Chris Paul was crap in the finals.
Yeah.
But then Devin Booker had terrible, like game 2 of this series, I think. It wasn't game 3 or game 3. He was awful in game 3.
Yeah.
They were out of gas. The thing that people can't put their finger on in the NBA Finals is that intangible. Again, I'll go back to the Bulls. We saw the Portland Trail Blazers run out of gas against the Bulls. We saw the LA Lakers run out of gas. Remember the Lakers in 1996 NBA Finals against the Bulls? The Lakers won game 1. Mike had a shot at the buzzer to win the game that rattled in and out. Lakers never were in another game. Mike controlled that series. You run out of gas in the NBA Finals, or you go on and you hang tough and you win. I think what we saw the Suns is their guys just ran out of gas. DeAndre Ayton didn't have any fuel left mentally.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, I have to have surgery after the season. Who cares? It's the NBA Finals. Were you on the floor? Okay, then you weren't hurt.
How the fuck else would you do this,
right?
job?
He ran out of gas.
Yeah, dude.
Devin Booker ran out of gas.
Yeah.
Mentally, those guys got tired because they had never been at that level.
Yeah.
And so I think that's why the Rudy Gays and the Mike Conleys of the world are so important to the Jazz, because they have guys who have competed at the top of the league.
Yeah.
Now they haven't won, but they've been on those Memphis Conley teams were really good. Some of those teams that Rudy Gay has been on, he's been on some pretty good teams, and he played at UConn. He's
a good player.
These are guys that are going to be there when you need them. It's the Andre Iguodala's of the world who have seen it. It's Ray Allen hitting that 3 in the corner, right?
Yeah.
It's guys, your intangible secondary players are why you win championships. LeBron is not going to win you a championship. He was your best player, but AD hit that 3 ball.
Marcus Smart literally used to be a come off the bench guy and give you toughness, and now he's starting for the Celtics and making $77 million on a contract. So if that doesn't serve to show you that the second tier player can come into this league, do some nice things and get paid, I don't know what would, man.
Kenny, I'm glad you're here, Kenny. Kenny says Donovan Mitchell is MJ. Confirmed. 6 rings. Let's go.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It's 1 a.m. He's got to be on something. Be like Mike Chisagni. That's not. It's Chassa. It's like Chisazgagni.
How dumb do you think I am?
I'm not very smart. Let's do this flu game. Here we go, Jeremy Bolton. What's my license plate got to do with anything?
Flu game.
Oh my God, I had a guy get into me over my license plate the other day.
Finally, okay, what happened? Well, first of all, where were you?
I was at home.
You were at home.
I was having my car detailed.
Ah.
And the guy's like, "Oh, flu game. Are you from Chicago?" I'm like, "Yeah, I am." He goes, "Yeah, I know." My license plate is flu game, legit. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I occasionally will get the odd guy honking at me, and I'm like, "What are you honking at?" Oh, flu game. Kenny says, we get MJ part 2. You do. Frederico Fonseca. I love Spida. He always gets better. He will bring a ring for Utah. It won't be Donovan Mitchell's. And this is the hard thing for, I think, a lot of people to digest.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell won't be why the Jazz win a championship.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be, like right now, it would have to be Rudy Gobert being better offensively.
Yeah.
Because he's a liability. He is. There's no doubt that. And we saw it with the Clippers, and we saw it with France. We saw it with Team USA, isolating him.
Yeah.
And by the way, what did the other thing we continued to see in the Olympics? Team USA just attacking Rudy Gobert's chest.
Rudy Gobert is an opportunity, not something to be feared.
He's an opportunity for guys like Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Right? For guys like Devin Booker. He's an opportunity. Yeah. Those guys attacked him. It's guys who are like, oh, can't go up. Rudy Gobert's in the building. Okay, you're not going to beat the Jazz. Gavin Vega, what's up, man? He says, morning, boys. I only ever interact with y'all on Twitter when I see you post funny stuff, and I'm glad I actually get to message today. Each morning, hi, listen to you guys while I start the first hour of my shift, and it helps it fly by. Really get my day going. I just wanted to thank you guys for that. Keep on keeping it real. Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
What do you do? One more
Gavin
comment.
Vega,
What do you do? What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do for a living? Tanner Plummer says, was in SoCal this past week.
God, must be nice.
Went to Disneyland.
Okay.
By the way, Disneyland is one word. And had an awesome time. Listened to your shows while I was in line for the Millennium Falcon ride. Oh, I want to go so bad.
It's awesome, dude.
I miss living in LA. Like I don't love LA and a lot of the things it brings. Namely, who can afford to live in LA? But I miss Taco Surf. I miss the Dog Beach, and I miss Disneyland, like Tower of Terror. Like is it crazy that I like California Adventure more than Disneyland?
Oh no, I like California Adventure way more than Disneyland.
Like Tower of Terror, and I can't remember the
California Screaming.
California Screaming.
Yeah.
Jake and I sat in the front of that roller coaster so many times, and just yelled and screamed and laughed and had a good time. And
yeah, it was amazing.
We have some great Disneyland memories. We used to be season pass holders there, but now we snowboard, so we can't afford it. Yarmilo, GDN Yarmilo says Marcus is pretty smart. Utah could have picked him up. Marcus is pretty. And
together and Okay. Anyway, moving on. All right.
All Rudy needs to do is develop his post game and a decent 12 to 15 foot shot like Whiteside already has. Yeah.
Yep. That's all he's got to do, but he won't do it.
So and he also says Udoka also already has it. How many minutes? If I said to you right now, again, August 19th, 3 days after the summer tournament. How many minutes a game does Doak play this year?
10 minutes tops.
It's going to be tough for him to get even.
Hassan's going to get 15 to 20 a night.
I would think
every single night.
I would think. Jeremy Bolton says, honest question: was Ben Wallace a better player than Rudy?
Ben Wallace was more of a problem than Rudy Gobert is. Ben Wallace wanted to hurt you. Ben Wallace wanted to send a message.
Yeah, Ben Wallace was Ben Wallace was a bodybuilder that played center.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he was playing football in the paint, bro. You knew what it was when you were coming in the paint.
Yeah, he had a little bit of touch. Like he wasn't just a beefy guy. He had a little bit of game. So he was more of a problem. Yeah. Forgotten Soul says California Adventure is way better than Disneyland because they have actual roller coasters.
Yeah.
Truth. All right. Can we play this Kevin Durant, Draymond Green thing? So you guys might remember this. Kevin Durant and Draymond Green got into a huge fight on the floor in 2018.
Yeah.
Against the Clippers. And Draymond called Kevin Durant, bad words. And so Kevin Durant leaves Golden State. And everybody's like, oh, Draymond Green, you ran him out of town. Turns out that's not what happened.
I really felt like that was such a big situation for us as a group. The first time we went through something like that, we had to get that shit all out. I remember watching The Last Dance, and when Scottie didn't go into the game, the whole team in the locker room said, Scottie, that was fucked up that you did that. We needed that. We just needed to throw all of that shit out on the table and say, yo, Dre, okay, like that was fucked up that we even had to go through that. Let's just wipe our hands with that and go finish the task. I don't think we did that and we tried to dance around it. I just didn't like how all of that, just the vibe between all of that, it just made shit weird to me. And I'd rather us be who we say we are, family first. Communication is key. Like we didn't show that, and that's what rubbed me the wrong way more than anything.
Y'all about to fuck this up. I said the only person that can make this right is me and Kay. And there's nothing that y'all can do, and y'all are going to fuck this up. And in my opinion, they fucked it up.
I think so too.
And they told me right then and there, like, we're going to suspend you for this game. Man. I laughed in their face, literally laughed in their face. And Bob said to me, he said, wow, that was not the reaction I was looking for or expecting. And I said, well, either I'm going to laugh in your face or I'm going to cuss you the fuck out. So you pick, I'm going to choose laugh. So I think what you're doing is funny, and so I'm going to laugh. And so it's interesting to hear you say essentially the same thing that I told them that day.
Bro, that's Draymond Green interviewing Kevin Durant. They were sitting on a set. It's on my Twitter feed, The Monty Show, MONTY, The Monty Show. And That's kind of what everybody thought. That's what I had heard way back in the day. And all of my friends in San Francisco were like, oh, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green are fine. Kevin Durant doesn't like the front office. What Kevin Durant just told you right there is he left because of the way Bob Myers, the general manager of the Golden State Warriors, and Steve Kerr, then and now the head coach of the Warriors, handled Draymond Green in that argument. And I always say this, like whether you're in the office, like in a high pressure performance situation like we are every day at Yelp, or you're on an NBA roster, team is only as strong as the players on the team.
Yeah.
And players only meetings where you handle the politics and the issues are vital. The best teams have it. Like having covered, Phil Jackson teams, when those Kobe Shaq championship teams that I was so fortunate to be around, Phil Jackson never was a police officer on those teams. Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, those guys were the ones that doled out discipline on those teams. Shaq was an absolute alpha male in that Laker locker room. Like, if there was an issue, you had to deal with Shaq. They also, both those Jordan and Shaq teams also had a guy named Ron Harper, who was an incredible teammate. So, like, those guys, those glue guys, are huge. Like, in Salt Lake here with the Utah Jazz, it's guys like Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles is that glue guy. Right?
In the middle of everything.
The problem is you're not a championship caliber team.
Yeah.
So now you got to go and find a different glue guy. And in my opinion, Donovan Mitchell absolutely has to be the alpha male on this team because Rudy Gobert is not that guy. He doesn't carry. I think the other problem in the NBA is money. Okay, so Rudy Gobert makes $41 million a year on average. There's a lack of respect for him because he makes that much money and the way he plays the game. And everybody rips Shaq for what Shaq said about Rudy getting that contract. But I'm telling you, around NBA circles and guys I talk to in the NBA, everybody points to that contract as a reason that the Jazz are not winning because Rudy Gobert is a one-dimensional player.
Yeah.
And so I'm telling you now, if they don't win a championship, the resentment will grow in that locker room. And it's going to be pointed right at
Rudy Gobert.
Because you're never going to look at Donovan Mitchell and say, well, Donovan, you got to do better.
Yeah, he's giving you everything he's got.
And he's usually the ball's going in the hole, right? And I think that's the biggest difference. So when you hear guys like Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, those are two of the best players in the entire world. Look at what Draymond Green did for the Olympic team. That's when you learn, in my opinion, I could be wrong, in situations like the Olympics and the World Championships, that's where you learn what a guy's true depth is. Draymond Green having the mental acuity, the basketball IQ to knock that ball off the rim in the championship game saved the USA. Absolutely won them the game. And that's the kind of player that Draymond Green is. He's great at taking a rebound and running up the floor and dishing and defending, blocking Rudy Gobert. But his mental toughness is why people love him.
Yeah.
And I think I look at Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant, it is so important for him to win a championship away from Golden State.
Yeah.
They have to win a ring in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Because who are they going to point at if they don't?
Kevin Durant.
And
he's fine with it.
And I think he does not care about that.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Because I already think that Kyrie Irving has a stained reputation. He's a terrible teammate. I think everybody knows that. I think it's vitally important that James Harden wins a championship with this Brooklyn team. Because I think they showed that when Harden and KD were healthy, that team was capable of beating anybody. Kyrie is not the straw that stirs the drink there. It's Kevin Durant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So to hear him talking about that and leaving Golden State because Steve Kerr and because Bob Myers handled that situation poorly, that should absolutely be one of those things as a fan that you take away. And you look at your team and you say, hey, okay, or you look at, because I think most of us are fans of players, not teams necessarily, right? Yeah. So I look at Devin Booker. I absolutely want to see that out of Devin. He's already an alpha male, right? Like Devin Booker's one of my favorite players. He's already an alpha. Now he's got to win. If he doesn't win a ring, he never becomes truly elite. Because when you're at the top of the game, and this is another Jordan, is Steve Kerr elite because he won multiple rings? No, he's not. Because Steve Kerr was never the best player in the NBA. Guys like Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, you name it right now, LeBron James, Kevin, you have to be the reason your team wins a championship. You've got to be the guy on a team that comes together and wins a ring. Because it's so hard. You cannot put a value on P.J. Tucker. But you know that P.J. Tucker is one of the main reasons the Bucks won a championship. You know that.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverley, perfect example of a guy that you need to win a championship, but he's never going to be elite. He's never going to be one of the best players in the NBA, but damn.
Just causes chaos.
Look what he did.
Put
Look
you
what
in a
he
position
did
to
for
go
the
make a
Clippers.
play.
Look what he did for the... I mean, he took Devin Booker out of the Suns' rotation for multiple games just with an accidental headbutt.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. So, anyway. James Knight says, okay, stop putting Draymond and IQ in the same sentence. See, that's the problem. There's a stigma about Draymond Green. He's just a dumb boom jock. Draymond Green's one of the most intelligent players in the NBA. His basketball
IQ.
temper.
He has a temper, for sure.
He loses his cool. He is a passionate player, and that hurts him. But it's why he is so damn good.
Yeah.
They don't win championships without Draymond Green on those teams.
It's totally true.
Every one of them will tell you that.
Yep.
So notice they almost won a championship without Clay, without Kevin Durant, because you still have guys that get it. So Draymond Green's not dumb. And anybody that thinks Draymond Green's unintelligent doesn't know him or the league.
Idiot.
Yeah, you're not, you know. Roman Chesnagsny. I'm French, so I could be biased, but Rudy was better than Draymond.
Okay. Yeah, you can stay in France, bro. Don't even humor that comment.
Rudy was better than Draymond Green during the Olympics.
Yeah, okay, dude.
So let me ask you this. You're French. The French team is featuring Rudy Gobert in the championship game against the USA. Did that work? Did that not work? Was that good for the French? Because I'm here to tell you it was not good for the French. Because what happened? They were forcing him the ball. Oh, Rudy's got size. Give him the ball. Give him the ball. They were fouling him. He missed half of his free throws.
Yep.
And every time you give Rudy Gobert the ball and tell him, go up and get fouled, we need to rack up fouls, which they did for the first 3 quarters of that game, it meant that the French team was not shooting threes. It meant that guys who you counted on to win you that tournament didn't have the ball in their hands.
Yep.
And Rudy couldn't convert.
Yep.
And so, by the way, what did we also see? Rudy Gobert was on the bench for a 7 to 10 minute stretch in crunch time. Why is that? Because he can't make his free throws, and he can't help you offensively, and you were trailing.
Yeah.
So Rudy Gobert was better than Draymond Green? Was Rudy Gobert knocking the ball off the rim in the championship game? No, he wasn't. Was Draymond Green getting critical rebounds? Was Draymond Green blocking a critical shot? Was Draymond Green running the offense for Team USA? Yeah, he was. He was their point guard the last 7 minutes of that game. Notice when the game was on the line, who was on the floor directing guys? It was Draymond Green standing at the top of the key, telling guys, hey, here, ball here, come get the screen.
Yeah.
Draymond Green's a far better player than Rudy Gobert. Draymond Green is a far more effective player on both ends of the floor. Rudy's a great defensive player, there's no doubt about that, but so is Draymond Green. But what's the difference in the two players? Draymond Green can take the rebound down, sprint down the floor, go to the basket, shoot a three. He's not a great three-point shooter, but he can shoot threes. Or what's he usually do? Gets into the paint and kicks it to the corner. And when Steph and Clay are healthy, it's over.
Yeah.
That ball's going down. And so the undervalue of Draymond Green is why the Warriors will beat you. It's that simple. Like, having watched pretty much all of the Olympic tournament and seeing the way that Team USA came back together, there were two guys that were in the middle of that whole thing. And you just heard from them. Kevin Durant and Draymond Green. Because Jayson Tatum was inconsistent. Book was not shooting the ball well. But why was Devin Booker in the game at the end?
Defense.
2 reasons. Elite defender, and he makes his free throws. Right? I mean, What did Damian Lillard do? Now, it turns out that Damian had a significant abdominal injury.
He's always freaking hurt, man.
But what did Dame do? Missed his free throws. Huge, critical free throws to put that tournament away. He missed them. Draymond Green bailed him out with a block shot and a rebound. I'm telling you, Draymond Green was a far better player in that tournament than Rudy Gobert. And I'm not even disrespecting Rudy. I just look at it facts by facts. Basketball terminology. Basketball thinking, Rudy Gobert was not as good as or as effective as Draymond Green in that tournament. One play with Steph and Clay and KD. Well, yeah, absolutely. But so we're going to blame Draymond Green for being talented or being surrounded by incredibly talented players? You don't blame a guy for that. You know what he's doing? He's facilitating. Draymond Green is a guy who, when you give him the ball, can do anything that you need him to do. Is Draymond Green a 7-footer with a 7-foot wingspan? Well, no, he's not. He's a 6'6" guy, but he uses every inch of that 6'6", and he's able to run down the floor, and he's able to pass. His outlet passing is the reason.
His passing overall is ridiculous.
Is the reason that Steph Curry is the kind of player that he is. Their ability to pick and roll. Do you ever watch the way that those Golden State Warrior teams pick and rolled? They pick and roll to get Klay Thompson shots in the corner. Do you understand that? Steph Curry with the ball. Dre goes sets a pick. Dre rolls. Give the ball to Dre, who kicks it to Klay. Like, that's a set play in their offense.
Yeah.
Not many. How many bigs are doing that? Not many bigs are doing that. Especially not at 6'6". You realize Draymond Green is defending guys much larger than him at 6'6".
Oh, yeah.
I understand why people don't like Draymond Green. But there shouldn't be a Jazz fan on the planet who, if we said, hey, Draymond Green, just got traded to the Jazz, that you shouldn't be jumping up and down excited.
Yeah.
I mean, that, to me,
amazing.
Would be the ultimate test. No doubt for all Rudy's shortcomings, he absolutely affects the game like no other according to the numbers when he's on the floor. Rudy Gobert's an elite defender.
He's not a winning player, though. That's the thing, dude. You can't. Cool. He affects the stat sheet. They lost. Team France lost. The Jazz lost. What more is there to talk about?
Yeah. And I do not, again, and I know this is something else that's contrary to most basketball fandom. The stat sheet is a liar. You need to understand that. The stat sheet's a liar.
20 rebounds in a game when your team is 15 of 40 from 3, that's not a good game, dude. Those are not 20 impactful rebounds.
Oh, wow. Terry Rozier gets a 4-year, $97 million extension.
From Charlotte? Or where is he?
Charlotte. Averaging career year last year, 20 points, 4 boards, 4 dimes.
Yeah.
Ranked 5th in 3-pointers.
They're gonna be a problem.
Now amongst the highest paid this is an interesting question. Is Terry Rozier a guy that you want to pay 20, no, that can't be right. I'm curious about that. 4 years, $97 million. So he's making $25 million a year.
Yeah.
That you're all right with that?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
All right.
He can get a bucket. He's Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, exactly. The stat sheet's a liar. My point is, I agree with you 100%. Rudy is really effective defensively. That's his thing, right? Like, I think we can all agree that Rudy Gobert
is defensive player of the year.
Yeah,
what more do you got to say?
Rudy Gobert is an excellent defensive player, and real plus minus efficiency.
You know what the difference is between Rudy and Draymond? Draymond can walk your ass out to the 3-point line and still stop you. Rudy Gobert's not doing that, and everyone's going to say, "Oh, well, look at all this tape, and look at these guys not able to get by Rudy, and he does all these great things." Well, the fact is he typically does that against guys who are 2nd or 3rd tier players who he just happened to get switched onto. He doesn't do that against the best players in the world. He doesn't do that against, LeBron or Kevin Durant. Hell, Book almost dropped him in the corner. We all remember that play.
But the thing that I think people forget is that Rudy is a great defensive player.
Yeah.
Who can be had. You can dribble and attack his chest in the paint. You can take him out of the paint and reverse the ball, and guys are going to score.
And the difference is he doesn't want to end you. He doesn't want to send a message. Like, everybody says, oh, well, nobody wants to go in the paint. Well, yeah, that's because they're second-tier players and they don't know what to do with his size. But when you get the elites of the world, they'll go after him all day long.
When you get a guy like who's a lower-tier point guard? Like, when you get the Memphis Grizzlies getting into the paint for a layup and they stop because Rudy's there, okay, he's going to beat those guys. But is he gonna beat Steph Curry in the paint? He's not.
Is it good enough to celebrate Rudy Gobert for beating the Memphis Grizzlies?
But
well,
more to my point is when we're comparing Draymond and Rudy Gobert, or Rudy Gobert is a one-dimensional player who, in that one dimension in crunch time, meaning the postseason, can be had.
Yeah,
like Ja Morant almost body bagged him. You can get Rudy Gobert, especially in the postseason. The regular season, he's a much more difficult player to manage as an opponent because you don't know how you're not attacking him the same way because there's not a sense of urgency there. Let's see. CJ So Cool Jr. says, Draymond really cannot dribble. He pushes the ball without pressure. If we had Green on the Jazz instead of Rudy, we'll be screwed. Okay, so let's break that down for a minute.
I just don't know what you're watching.
What are you watching? Draymond Green can dribble without pressure. So this is not arguable, this fact. Draymond Green is universally recognized as one of the best two-way players in the NBA. For the simple fact that, yeah, he can run the break for you. When did running the break become a problem? By the way, Rudy Gobert doesn't run the break or dribble. Rudy Gobert's a guy that gets you a rebound and then trots down the floor. He is we call that a rim runner. He is a guy that trots down the floor. But if you put Azubuike's bad attitude into Rudy Gobert, okay, now we have a player we can deal with. Rudy Gobert would be unstoppable, but he's not that guy. He doesn't have that want-to-kill-you attitude. And I'm telling you, you can continue to knock Draymond Green as a guy who can't dribble under pressure. Do you want Draymond Green dribbling under pressure when Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are on your team? I don't. Why would I ask Draymond Green to do that? By the way, he does dribble under pressure. He brings the ball up for them on a pretty regular basis. So I just that drives me crazy. Randolph Adams says the Warriors lost too. Okay, well, the Warriors haven't been the same team since all of their guys either went down injured or Kevin Durant went to Brooklyn. But the two guys that have been there constantly, Steph Curry and Draymond Green. No matter what, no matter who, Draymond Green and Steph Curry have been there.
Bro, this is I'm not trying to be an a-hole about this. This is such a dumb conversation. We're literally sitting here saying that somehow Rudy Gobert is basically the conversation we're having is Rudy. You guys are trying to say that Rudy Gobert is a more versatile player than Draymond Green, and that's just not the case, man. It's not arguable. Like go and do homework on it. Go watch YouTube. Go see all the different things that Draymond Green can do. I mean, this is not an arguable fact.
By the way, Draymond Green's won Defensive Player of the Year as well.
Has he won it multiple times yet? Just once?
No, I think he won it one time. Did he not? Let me look.
He's always in the conversation.
2017.
What an idiot!
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy who leads the league in steals. He's a guy that defends well. He's a guy that...
He just does so many different things. I mean, he is a Swiss Army knife of defense,
This is a guy... But understand that he's been on all... He's won the Defensive Player of the Year. He's been on the All-Defensive team. He's won the Sixth Man of the Year, I'm pretty sure. I think in 2009, 2010, he won the Sixth Man of the Year. Like, do you guys... don't let your fandom bias your knowledge. I mean, Draymond Green's a hell of a player.
Yeah.
We're having that ugly conversation. I don't know why we're having it now, but we're having that ugly conversation where all of a sudden this guy sucks so that your guy can be better, and that's just not the way it works, man. A couple more comments, and then we really got to get to the NFL taunting thing. No, really, we got to get to BYU's money-making machine. Calvin Johnson, not wanting to send a message is a good thing. Give me a guy who drastically changes. Whoa, comment dump. Sorry about that, Calvin. Give me a guy who changes the opponent's shot chart over a guy who gets blocks on SportsCenter, i.e. Rudy Gobert over Dwight Howard. Well, Dwight Howard's never been a great defensive player, in my opinion. But I look at it, and I just ask you again, how much weight are you putting into the regular season? Does the regular season really impact you that much? To me, when you're an elite team, you just need to get in. So Rudy Gobert in the postseason is a problem for the Jazz. If you just go no further than the Clippers series. Watch how teams
And the Clippers multiple times, dude.
in the regular season too. That Pat Beverly out of the corner, and we talked about this when it happened. Pat Beverly out of the corner was hitting a three to really win the game against Rudy Gobert.
We told you that they were going to do that before the Terrence Mann night happened.
Yeah. Red Heart Norvis says France was pressured enough. Rudy, on the other hand, felt the pressure and missed free throws. He did, correct.
And a lot of them.
Nobody is arguing Gobert is more versatile than Draymond Green, just a better impact. You really think Rudy Gobert impacts the game more than Draymond Green? Maybe I'm just wrong. I'm open to the idea that I'm just wrong.
Yeah,
but Draymond Green has an incredible impact offensively. His passing ability.
By the way, he can make a 3-point shot.
His versatility offensively. Rudy Gobert is a pick and roll guy, period. That's it. And again, I would just ask you, what is Rudy Gobert's on offense? When does he thrive? He thrives not when you throw him the ball in the post. He thrives when the Jazz are missing threes because of his wingspan. He's an elite offensive rebounder. If the Jazz are missing three, Rudy Gobert is going to have a 25-point game. If the Jazz are making three, he's a 10 to 12-point guy. And there's value in that, but all of his game is at the rim, period. That's it. Draymond Green's a far more versatile player. And the other thing is, I think Draymond Green has a far larger impact on the game. It allows the Warriors to do many different things. Jeremy Bolton said, whoa, you guys, this we probably should not have brought this up because now the comment section is lit. Jeremy Bolton says, man, so much love for Draymond. You guys should double with him and Book. Slurp alert. Well, hey, it's not that there's a slurp alert. It's respect. You
can't sit here and say that Draymond Green is not a versatile player. You can't. It shows that your fandom is in front of your basketball knowledge. Draymond Green, let me ask you this. Why is it that Draymond Green was a quintessential part of why they won a championship? Do you honestly think that the Warriors get to the first Warrior team before KD and all that happened? Do you honestly think that team gets to the finals without Draymond Green's defense? Without Draymond Green running the break when it was Dre and Steph and Clay? Those guys don't get there without Draymond Green.
No.
So that's why I say let's not get on our high horse about Rudy Gobert. He hasn't won a gold medal. He's never shown the ability to beat the best talent in the world, whether it's in the Olympics or in the NBA. He has shown a propensity. You guys are ripping Draymond Green for losing his cool. How many times did Rudy Gobert lose his cool from the bench or on the floor on the official and then bitch about it after the game? How many times? How many times do we have to talk about that? He lost his cool to the point where his teammates are telling him to stop chirping at the officials. So the losing your cool thing, that doesn't matter. That's not in this conversation because both of these guys lose their cool.
Well, and I would tell you that the other thing that Draymond Green does is his numbers go up, not down in the postseason. Like he scores more, he assists more, he rebounds. He's a clutch player.
This is a tired conversation. Yeah. This is the classic, we're Jazz fans, Rudy Gobert is the best conversation. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's what this is turning into. And you have to be better.
And there's a difference between the fact that you don't like Draymond Green versus what he is as a player.
Yeah.
So I would say that as well. Gavin Vega says, sorry, boys, didn't respond right away. I'm a carpenter. I make plantation shutters for rich snobs like you. Okay, cool. That's absolutely
I love the 1%er digs that we get, dude.
We do. A lot of people. That's funny. And Vega, I appreciate
That's
your
awesome,
work.
Dude.
Rudy, CJ So Cool, JR Jr. guy, says Rudy does have to make his free throws, and Quinn should utilize Rudy in the post against smaller players. That's how you counter a small lineup. Now, granted, Rudy has to develop a post game in free. Yeah, you got to. That's why I say if Rudy Gobert shows up this year with the ability to dribble the ball and even just use a bank shot,
anything
that's not a dunk or an awkward looking throw the ball up at the basket shot thing, I think they're a much better team.
Yeah.
Kenny says, do you think coaching would help Rudy's game? I think the problem is that look at Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell works with two guys that don't work for the Jazz. Chris Brickley, who is the best skills coach in the world, and David Alexander, who's a body expert. Those guys look at Elijah Hughes' three-point shot. Elijah Hughes is now a really, really good three-point shooter. He showed that in the summer league. And he hasn't been that good. And this is Trent Forrest versus Elijah Hughes, too, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Trent Forrest needs to go see, and there's some people saying that Trent Forrest is working with Lethal Shooter. I'd like to see that because Trent Forrest needs to develop a three-point shot. His mechanics are ugly. Elijah Hughes knew to get minutes on the Jazz and to make this roster, he had to have a no doubt about it offensive game because he's not a willing defender. He's not a good defender. So now what do you know? He can handle the ball and he can shoot threes. And we've seen that because he works with Chris Brickley, who is an incredible coach. Don works with Chris Brickley. You look at the way guys work the offseason, it's not Quinn Snyder's job to develop your three-point shot.
Agreed.
It is not his job. His job is to coach you 100 nights a year and win championships.
His job is to win ball games. That's it.
As a professional, your job is in the offseason to go and get yourself some skills.
To work, to grow.
I mean, No, man, I'm out on shoes today, by the way. Barry wants to know if there's a shoe auction today.
I don't know. Is there?
I
never know.
There's a Dunk High today, but I've got like 6 shoes on order.
Mrs. Monty's going to annihilate you, bro.
She is, but it's fine. Just a couple more comments, because then we got to get to BYU. Do you guys think that the local Whoa, hey, how are you? Sorry, I'll go back to Red Heart Enormous because that's the only one I can see right now. Rudy plus minus on season is pretty strong, but drops significantly during the playoffs. Draymond Green is pretty consistent season or post. I would agree with that. Let's see. Randolph Adams says, LOL. No. Yes. Rudy. They hate Rudy. That's messed up. Who hates Rudy? I don't think people in the NBA hate Rudy.
No. He's mocking the comments, saying that people think he's laughing at the fact that people think we hate Rudy Gobert.
We don't hate Rudy Gobert.
Yeah.
See, on this show, though, the difference is we're not Jazz fans.
Yeah.
I don't have a team. I'm a fan of players in the NBA. My last team was the Chicago Bulls, and God bless them for this offseason. I have high hopes. Anyway, the point is, they'll find a way to screw it up, trust me. But the point is, I'm a fan of players. Like, my favorite player is Devin Booker, by far.
Yeah.
By far. I happen to be an Anthony Davis fan. I also happen to be a Julius Randle fan. I really like Lonzo Ball. I like watching players play the game. That's why I go to NBA games. I don't root for the Jazz. Now, if the Jazz win, it's better for us.
Yeah.
It's better for the show. When the Jazz win, if Rudy comes with an offensive game, that's better for us. Ask yourself this question. There's a show whose largest audience, our largest audiences by far are 4 cities. Not even close. Salt Lake City and the Wasatch Front, our largest audience, not close. Phoenix is number 2. LA is number 3. New York is number 4. Followed closely by suburban Chicago, like the south side of Chicago, pretty much. Why would I want any of those teams to do poorly? Why would I come on this show and be like, oh, Rudy Gobert sucks. The Jazz are terrible.
Y'all about to fuck this up.
Why would I do that? Why would I root against the team and the players that our listenership supports? Why would I do that? That would be counterproductive. I don't hate Rudy Gobert. See, the thing is, it's not personal to me. Here's my honest 100% assessment of Rudy Gobert. He is a one-dimensional player who does that one thing really well. He's a really good defensive player in the regular season. Problem is, he can get got on a regular basis in the postseason because those teams that you're playing in the postseason, especially when you get through the Memphises of the first round, you ran into an elite Clipper team. Right? And I will point to, for all the people who say, oh, you guys don't watch games, because we've gotten a couple of those today. Do you watch Rudy? No, we've never. Rudy who? Never
Who's
seen
Rudy?
him.
Rudy Gay?
No, never heard of him. Here's the thing, though. We've been telling you this. This is our 7th year doing this show.
Yeah. 580.
Right? 560-something shows. Yeah, it's something like that. We have been telling you. I told you way back when, a guy even taunted me with a tweet about this. When it was Enes Kanter and Rudy Gobert. I said on the mighty 1320 K-Fan, the sports leader, I said it's time to let Enes Kanter go. Let Rudy become who he's going to become. Let him go.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
It's time for Rudy Gobert to step up and be your number one center. Oh, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Am I? I was right.
What an idiot.
My problem with Rudy Gobert is he is not growing as an offensive player. In pressure moments, you can't count on him. Games on the line, can you throw your big man the ball?
No.
Well, if you're the Lakers, you can, and he'll hit a three in Anthony Davis and win you a championship. If you're Rudy Gobert and the Jazz, can you give him the ball with the game on the line? When teams are double and tripling Don, is Rudy Gobert even an option? Here's a question. Is Rudy Gobert ever even on the floor? Let me ask you this even further about the Jazz. Is Jordan Clarkson on the floor in crunch time?
Nope.
No, he's not. So my point is, Rudy Gobert is a great defensive player. Hell no! You do not pay him $41 million.
Unless your name is Dennis Lindsay.
And then you get fired. 31% from three, please. Are you talking about Draymond Green?
I didn't say the guy was a great three-point shooter.
He's your power forward / center, and you think 31% from three sucks? On a team that's got Klay Thompson and Steph Curry, the best shooting guard combination in the history of the NBA.
And Andre Iguodala?
You think 31% from three out of Draymond Green sucks? My man, this ain't James Knight, with all due respect. You're off your rocker. If 31% from three from your power forward center is bad, I don't know what constitutes good. I don't. Because how many Nikola Jokic's are in this league?
One.
That's exactly right. One. You're crazy. And the other big that shoots three is Anthony Davis consistently. And I don't know his number off the top of my head, but it ain't 40%. I can tell you that right now. 31% from three is pretty good.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're running out of time. Can we talk about BYU real quick?
Sure. Yeah.
They should let people taunt in the NFL. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about BYU. Tom Holmoe said something interesting the other day. There are very few athletic programs in this country that operate in the black that are profitable. BYU is one of them. And so it's this constant question about the Brigham Young University Cougars.
That team down south.
Coug on Coug action. How desperate are you to get into a conference? Because everybody said that this team was going to fall apart. Oh, go back to the Mountain West. Craig Thompson's got a great hair. Here's my point. Their schedule is arguably the best in independence. I mean, Notre Dame is Notre Dame. They have one of the top schedules every year.
Yeah.
They make a ton of money. They're profitable. They have great relationships with people like ESPN. They play in huge stadiums. They play the Pac-12. They play the SEC. They play everybody you want to play.
Yeah.
I'm of the belief that BYU is not desperate to get into a conference. And I don't think they should be begging anybody for anything. If I'm BYU and Tom Holmoe, I give Jake an energy drink so he doesn't yawn in the middle of the show.
Bro.
And I just continue to print money. That's what I would do.
I mean, yeah, they're profitable. You know, the Built Bar thing, like, you've got a lot going for you. You know, there's a lot of momentum happening in the program. That's not in doubt. I just think that it would be nice at some point in the next gazillion years if BYU won anything of significance. That would be nice. It would be nice if BYU fans could say, well, you know, yeah, the program's profitable, but did you see? We went to the college football playoff. We made an appearance. I mean, that would be chaos. If BYU got into the college football playoff, that would be absolute chaos in college football. You know? And so for like your average Joe fan, I don't think they give a damn whether the program's profitable or not. You know? Yeah, is it great that the program's profitable? Absolutely. And he's exactly right. Most programs are not profitable. That's 100% true. But at the end of the day, we can talk about profitability. We can talk about Built Bar sponsorships. We can talk about all the nice things that happen down in Provo. At the end of the day, you need to start winning the Holy War, and you need to start winning games of consequence. That's where this program is at. And I think that I'm not trying to be a hater, but I think that's just the truth. And I even think that BYU would agree with that. I think Kalani would agree with that. Honestly, I do. And I think Tom Holmoe would agree with that. That's why he continues to schedule a really difficult schedule. If one of these years we can, have a great year against, Texas and LSU and Oklahoma and all these awesome brand nameplate schools, there's going to be absolute chaos on ESPN for Mel Kiper. Just that simple. Because you're not going to say, well, BYU, they're an independent and they don't play anybody. Oh, really? We don't play anybody? What about all that SEC talent on the schedule? What about all that P5 talent on the schedule? What about all those ass kickings we handed out, in the Pac-12? That's what has to happen.
All I'm saying is, I think Tom Holmoe does not get the respect he deserves. He's an elite athletic director. Because your money, when you say you're profitable, that's not from football and basketball. That means that your other teams are winning. That means that your other teams are producing donations. That means that things like the Built Bar deal for BYU are massive.
Yeah.
Massive. But your other teams, your rowing team, you're like at BYU, soccer, basketball, women's basketball.
Don't forget field hockey.
Baseball, water polo. Those teams only survive through donations.
Yeah.
That means that your whole athletic department has a process that makes you money. So to me, that's massive. That is huge. Did anybody catch the Taliban having a press conference? I did.
Afghanistan.
Dude. Bro. Jeremy, although I agree about making money, I do miss BYU playing for conference championships. Totally. Totally. James Knight says, you guys need to watch your show back. You might listen to yourselves and comprehend the comments. Responding to Jake saying Draymond can shoot the three. No. Okay, what more do you want from Draymond Green?
How difficult is this?
The guy in the regular season shoots 31.5%. The guy in the postseason shoots 31.5%. He's not asked to shoot threes. He shoots threes because he can. Find me a big, think of another big that shoots threes. Let me look at Anthony Davis and his stats. I'm telling you, if you're saying that Draymond Green sucks because he shoots threes at a 31% clip, you're high, bro. You're high. Fucking Anthony Davis shoots 31% from three, and we think that guy's elite.
Pull up Kristaps Porzingis, because this is what he's made his name on.
God almighty.
Pull up Kristaps Porzingis stats. Let's see, in his career so far.
Somebody help me.
What his 3-point percentage is?
36%.
Okay, so even Kristaps Porzingis is 36%.
You are crazy.
Pull up Dirk's stats. Dirk Nowitzki's stats.
Oh, forget it. Dirk was
but seriously,
elite.
but I want to use this as an example. Euro player, Euro big, one of the best Euro bigs ever. Ever, not in question. First ballot, no doubt about it, Hall of Famer.
He's got to be a 40% three-point shot. 38%.
He ain't even at 40%. And you're sitting here saying that Draymond Green at 31 is bad? Dude, I'm not saying that the guy is a great three-point shooter, but what I am saying is that when you need him to knock down that one three-point shot every 50 possessions, he'll make that shot. He will. And Rudy will not even be in position to take that shot. That's a big difference.
Joel Embiid, who is shoots not as many threes. He shoots 32%.
Karl Anthony Towns. Where's Karl Anthony Towns? My guy made a name on shooting threes. This is amazing. Honestly, this is amazing.
I'm amazed by this. I'm amazed by it. Shoots 39% from three.
39%.
What about Jokic? These are guys who their job is to shoot threes.
Yeah.
And
this is a huge part of their game.
Nikola Jokic shoots 34% from three.
The MVP of the league.
James, I like that you're here, but you're completely off your rocker on this. How is Draymond Green shooting? Anyway.
Who else we got? What else we got?
Where's Giggity today? Giggity, man, I love that you guys, like the comment dumps today have been incredible. Jazz won't win a title, Giggity says. They'll go down as a fantastic regular season team during this window. They need a roster shakeup. They need to move Joe and Bogdanovich and Royce off this roster.
And go and get DeMar, which is not going to happen.
Upgrade those guys. That, to me, upgrading Derek Favors to Rudy Gay is a huge move.
Yeah.
Adding Eric Paschall to your rotation, it's just a huge move.
Big stuff.
Now, the core guys you count on have to be, like Royce O'Neal's not good enough to be on a championship roster. He's not. Okay, what else do we
Y'all about to fuck this up.
How did Joe Biden have a press conference yesterday and not talk about Afghanistan or the Taliban?
I think that's HIPAA.
Taliban, as Donald Trump would say.
Afghanistan.
The Taliban, look, whether you like it or not, they're the government of Afghanistan.
Afghanistan.
Yeah, I mean that. Joe Biden has completely botched this with the urgency and the way it went down. Now, again, I still think that Donald Trump handed him a ticking time bomb by announcing that we were leaving, and then a month ago taking credit for it before taking it off his website. Joe Biden has not handled this well.
Yeah.
He then sat down for a one-on-one with George Stephanopoulos at ABC News, which is why he didn't comment on it.
Mm-hmm.
But look, I'm telling you, Grandpa Joe he's got to be a better president. I mean, we need Joe Biden. We need to get out of Afghanistan without murdering the people who supported us there.
Afghanistan.
I mean, it's incredible what they're doing to women. If Joe Biden does not step up and defend the women, specifically women in Afghanistan that have helped the United States, well, I don't know that for a decade, we will recover from that. I mean, we've had so much damage in our allies through the Trump administration and throughout Europe, and really the Pacific Rim is largely still intact relationally speaking. But if we do not defend the women and everybody, but particularly the women, because the Taliban is going to devastate the female population there. I mean, they live and die with Sharia law, and women do not thrive in those situations.
Yeah.
And as a woman, if you step up and get involved in politics, they will kill you. And we have a lot of women that supported the United States government in Afghanistan, and the Taliban will kill them. And
Afghanistan.
It is Joe Biden's responsibility to get those women out of Afghanistan intact. Have to. My wife is rocking pink Air Jordan 3s today.
Welcome to the fucking show.
Welcome to the show. We have got to figure that out. And the other thing we got to figure out, this situation in Florida and Texas with COVID.
Dude, I mean, it's going to figure itself out. So I love this.
Did you see these school districts? Because our guy, Ron DeSantis.
It's an antibody cocktail. It's
cock. What a jerk. Anyway, Ron DeSantis has banned mask mandates in the state of Florida, including school districts.
Right.
So in Texas and Florida, they've gotten so desperate that they've spent time trying to figure out how to usurp that.
Whoa.
Well, in Florida...
did you just say usurp?
Yeah.
Wow, that's like 3 days in a row you've used a big word. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
You need a conjugal visit. Anyway, the point is... Conjugal's a big word, too.
I think that's HIPAA.
Yeah, that is HIPAA.
Sorry, go ahead, proceed.
Well, and I'm serious. You should try to find a girlfriend once your herpes is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Yeah.
the point is, he doesn't have herpes.
Just so you can go to Pound Town.
Downstairs kitty cat, my friends. The point is, in Florida, the way they've gotten around the mask mandates is they simply have said, hey, Ron, here's my middle finger. 7 school districts in Florida now mandate masks in schools.
Okay, fuck you. How's that?
That's a direct quote from the school board meeting, where our friend, Mr. Whatever his name, subjugate your children.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? Take your lithium, bro.
Nice dreads, bro.
Seriously. Anyway, in Texas, they're not the middle finger types, at least not yet.
Right.
They went so far as to mandate masks through the dress code policy. I think it's Harris County. That's brilliant.
Brilliant.
Oh, we can't force kids to wear masks. Well, we can make them wear uniforms, which was a huge conservative policy, by the way. And now part of your uniform is a mask that you must wear to complete your uniform.
Excellent strategy, sir.
Ding. Winning. Here's the thing I don't understand. Like, why are we so against wearing a mask? The argument is, it takes my kids right away.
The coronavirus.
Right to what? It takes their right to what away? Because we now know that kids are super spreaders. They are like little petri dish super spreading destruction machines for COVID.
Do you want to set up the meeting?
They easily get it and they easily transmit it. There are over 11,900 kids in quarantine in Florida. Is the last number I saw before the show. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, you have 2,000 kids with COVID in Florida because kids are now getting COVID at a rapid rate.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving it to their teachers and their parents. Why are you against mask mandates? Why do you not want kids to wear masks? Forget the mandates. Why won't you have your kid wear a mask at school?
Yeah, I don't know, dude.
Why are you so pissed about it that you're shouting down people when they're trying to talk about why masks are important?
I will chain you to a pipe!
Right? That's a live listen into the school board meeting.
I will downsize your face with a shovel!
Right? My point is, why are you against this? Because we now know that there are a lot of school-age children in this country who can't get the vaccine. It's not safe for them.
Yeah.
It's not approved for them.
It's true.
They need to wear a mask. Like, I don't understand why people are so upset about this.
Yeah, I don't get it, dude. Our country is jacked.
And by the way, where is COVID ravaging? In conservative Republican states.
Afghanistan.
Well, I don't know. Is it in Afghanistan, sir? By the way, you know what the Taliban, you know why I laughed at the Taliban yesterday? We're going to ban heroin. Do you know what the number one crop in Afghanistan? Do you know what the number one crop in
Afghanistan.
It's heroin.
Afghanistan.
Poppy seed fields. Number one crop in Afghanistan. Good luck with that, guys. Good luck. I mean,
what an idiot.
What an idiot. Right? By the way, anybody notice who's running the Taliban now?
Afghanistan.
Yeah, all the people that we freed to go, well, not we, Donnie.
Who does that?
Donnie. Freed. Those are like the people in charge.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's a shame. Like the guy used some American terminology. Like the guy's like, it's a shame that those bodies fell off that plane. Because then we didn't get to behead them. That's what you were thinking, prick. Tell me that you weren't. Right? Like, it's terrifying to me that people are so desperate to get to the Kabul airport that now the United States has said we can no longer do escorts because the Taliban has a bounty out on American soldiers. By the way, who started the bounty thing? Oh, that's right, Vladdy and the boys in Russia.
You just gave a gift to the Russians.
Know what I'm saying? Hey, real quick investing before we get out of here, because I don't want to talk about beheading people today. I don't have
Afghanistan.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good to hear from you, Donnie. Did you guys hear there was another cryptocurrency theft in? I want to say it was Japan. 37 million in Bitcoin stolen. Again. And what they do is they're like, hey, man, I stole your Bitcoin. Give me 10 million. I'll give you 37 million in Bitcoin. And then you give them 10 million and they're like, psych. And so people are so worried about paying the ransoms on Bitcoin. Oh, by the way, does anybody know who the number one Bitcoin hacking country in the world is?
Afghanistan.
No, it's not. It's Russia. Thank you. I was waiting for that drop.
Afghanistan.
Well, yeah, kind of Afghanistan because the Russians are in Afghanistan now because, well, we're not. They're just there with the Chinese. Again, fill in the gap. Anyway, the point is, hey, man, the Russians are stealing from people.
Right.
There was a story, and I want to say it was on John Oliver this weekend, where he had like these Russian hackers, because Russia has basically said, hey, Boris, you want to rip off the Americans through like hacking? Okay, cool. Just don't steal from Russia.
Hey, look here, man.
Or Russians. And if it hurts Russians, we're going to kill you with probably poison on your doorknob. So these Russian hackers are buying like Lamborghinis and Ferraris, and the one guy's Russian license plate on his Lambo Aventador says thief.
Cold-blooded, clean, methodical, and thorough.
In Russian, it says thief on his license plate. They're not even trying to hide.
What are you going to do about it?
Nothing, because the Russian government's like, hey, cool story, bro. Congratulations. Good job. Here's some vodka. Right? I mean, like, the Russian government does not care if you steal or hack.
Yeah.
Just don't do it in Russia or to Russians, and you get a free pass. So all this Bitcoin stealing that's going on, it made me wonder this morning when I saw that story, what should you be investing in? Because a lot of people the last couple of weeks are like, you got to buy oil swaps.
It's an antibody cocktail.
No, it's not. That's petroleum. Anyway, the point is, sir, you could put that in your body probably to kill COVID. Anyway, now we're just off the rails. Anyway, the point is, people were all into buying oil. I'm telling you, oil's not the place to go. People are all into buying real estate. I'm always in favor of buying real estate.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to figure out if you're going to buy now or later or at some point.
Yeah.
Where are you at? Are you going to buy real estate? Like you're making pretty good money at the Yelpatory.
Yeah, I mean, I the thing that I struggle with is like, it's a trade-off. This is the age-old discussion of, when you rent a place, you're giving away your money, and you're never going to get that money back. But you also have super low overhead, so you have the flexibility, But then on the flip side of that, right now where the market's at, it's like if you can get in, you're going to double your money in what? I mean, I don't know. This town, the townhouse we're sitting in is probably a good example. What, like 3 years?
Yeah.
So it's kind of this
I'm
give and
already.
take.
You want to know what's crazy? We did not even know that this house existed a year ago.
Yeah.
We're $100,000 in equity.
And so to me, that's where I'm like, okay, well, it would push me to be able to get into a place, but at the same time, it's like, it's this whole risk versus reward conversation.
I mean, the real estate thing right now, you're in a real tough spot because if you don't buy, it's going to be too expensive to buy.
That's my thing. That's why I'm saying, like, it was so funny. I was looking last night, and there's this area. So obviously, we're in this kind of enclave called Daybreak, and around Daybreak, there's not much in Daybreak available, but there are several areas around Daybreak that are coming. So like the closest one is like Harriman. There's some availability there,
right.
But then a little further south, it's about 20 minutes away. This is probably too far for me. We went down to. One of our winners lives in Saratoga Springs, and when we went down there was just an assload of like land available and good deals out there. So it's kind of this whole situation where South Jordan, I was looking last night, there's nothing in our immediate area. It's crazy. Like this is such a desirable area. It's insane.
Ooh, CDC just released numbers that say hospitalizations for children are at their highest levels since the start of the pandemic.
So this is what I was going to say about the whole COVID thing. This is going to take care of itself. There are going to be so many kids either dying or going to the hospital that it's going to overwhelm the system, and it's going to put Abbott and DeSantis in a position where they're not going to have a choice because people, as insane as people are, I just have a really tough time thinking that people are going to be like, yeah, I'm cool with my kid being in the hospital. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that. I have a tough time with that.
So Florida hospitals,
I know.
So Florida hospitals are under threat of defunding if they go outside of the Florida health system to get ventilators. Because essentially Ron DeSantis is trying to control everything. And so Lee County Health released information that there are 492 people in this hospital with COVID that are not vaccinated. 70 are hospitalized that are vaccinated. 81 are in the ICU that are unvaccinated. 3 are in the ICU that are vaccinated. 48 are on ventilators that are not vaccinated. 3 are on ventilators who are vaccinated.
Yeah.
I mean, the numbers don't lie. Yet Ron DeSantis has said, well, vaccines don't keep you from getting COVID. So let's talk about treatment, right? 230 patients are hospitalized in Sarasota. 25 are vaccinated. 205 are unvaccinated. 51 in the ICU. 3 are vaccinated. 34 on ventilators. 1 is vaccinated. Like, this is not rocket science.
The trend continues. If you're vaccinated, this thing's going to do nothing to you.
Florida's in trouble, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Kenny says, yo, where did this conversation head off? I took 10 minutes, a 10-minute break. True. Red Heart Norvis says, Taliban makes sense. Ban heroin so Taliban can have full control. And if locals get involved in the market, they got confiscated and more product to fund them. Yeah, it probably does make sense.
Afghanistan.
Casey Finlandson says, these COVID stories call for that new Draymond effing it up drop.
Y'all about to fuck this up.
Truth. We have to go. Eric C. says, Tanner, I think will be close to normal by 2023 because Tanner said, comment dump, sorry. You guys have been amazing on the comments today. Tanner, I can't see your comment. Anyway. He said, do you guys ever think we'll get out of this pandemic? Oh, we will. It's going to be 2 years.
Years.
Yeah, and then we're always going to have to wear masks. I guarantee it. Because pandemics usually take a decade to go away totally. All right, that's it. Show's over. Make sure you subscribe. Yes, somebody asked about the Traeger. No, we haven't given it away yet. We're giving away a Traeger smoker when we get to 2,500 subs. And we're currently at like 1630 or something like that. 1632. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. The Monty Show. MONTY, The Monty Show. SLC Supercars. Until tomorrow, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.